Hey, Dr. Ferris. I chose to do my presentation on the article Vaccination Over Parental Objection. Should adolescents be allowed to consent to receiving vaccines? This article was written by several very distinguished doctors, Dr. Silverman, Opal, and Omer. And so this article was really prompted by the number of measles cases in 2019, which was higher than the numbers since 1992, which was about 30 years ago. So it was the highest rate of measles outbreak in almost 30 years. And so these authors started to begin to question, why is this? And the answer they really came up with was that it's due to parents deciding not to vaccinate their children. And they didn't really ask the question of whether these parents are right or wrong in being able to, whether determining that taking vaccine is good or bad. But they asked, are minors, or should minors be allowed to make that decision for themselves? What age should a minor be able to make that decision? And so they kind of brought up a story about a young man who, when he turned 18, that was the first thing he did. He went and got the vaccines that he hadn't gotten because his mom didn't let him get vaccinated when he was younger. And the authors propose that there are many similar cases throughout the United States where a student actually would like to get vaccinated when their parents won't let them. And they pointed out that Alaska already has passed a bill that allows minors to make this decision, and that several other states are in the process of passing such legislation as well. And so the question really is, at what age should a minor be able to do these things? And generally, what it looks like in the article they're kind of advocating for is about 14, where the adolescent should be able to choose whether they want to be vaccinated or not. So I guess 12 to 14 is really what it is. So a couple thoughts / objections that I kind of have to this article is they make some assumptions that essentially that you can skip over the question of addressing whether or not parents choosing to vaccinate or not to vaccinate is a good idea or a bad idea. They don't really condemn parents, but they just immediately jump to, oh, well, the adolescent should most likely be able to decide, because it's causing problems, and so I think they kind of missed at least stating something in the very beginning that would have been helpful to understand where they were coming from, and to not just be like, oh, they're making an assumption that isn't really founded upon anything that they're proposing. There's no citation for it. So that was one thing that I kind of didn't really enjoy about the article. But then also, I've done a lot of research on vaccines, especially my junior and senior year of high school, as a lot of papers were dedicated to that. And I really don't think there's anything wrong with vaccination. I think that's actually a great idea. But I think the way it's carried out in sometimes is poor, especially with the CDC schedule is over the top, I do believe. And so I really do think that this right to choose whether to vaccinate or not should be reserved for the parent, because they're the ones who really honestly should, this is not always the case, have their child's best interest in mind. They know their child, and so I think that they should be able to choose until their child is 18 years or older. I was not vaccinated with the full schedule, and I don't regret that in any way. I've been super duper healthy, and so, like, am I questioning the science? Yes, a little bit, but I still think that my parents have made a very wise decision in the way that they've chosen to vaccinate. And so I really do think it should be within the parents' decision. So thank you very much.